Hey folks, I'm here with you today because I want to give you a spring peek into what the kitchen Hugelkultur gardens look like. You can see behind me here, everything's dead, it's bare, it's brown, and I really like showing people not just the pretty side. I mean, I know we all like the pretty side best, but this is actually what these beds look like in spring. They're brown, they're dead. It's a wonderful time to assess your Hugelkultur kitchen garden beds, and so that's what we're going to do today. I'm just going to walk you through, we're going to look at things. And then I also have an exciting offer for you where I'm actually teaching a class on how to create gardens like these, a free class. So stay tuned until the end and I will tell you all about that then. So I want to give you a bird's eye view of the Hugelkulturs in the spring. You can see there's some fresh dirt right here that I dumped out of our root cellar bins. But here she is. The green grass is starting to come up. The deer have been busy in there and have poked holes through it. There's areas where the mulch needs to be reapplied. But it looks very bare. You can see over here, here's where the deer, for some reason they really liked that bed. I don't know what they were getting at. But it's very bare. You have the bare bones, and that's a great thing in the spring to be able to see and assess before all your perennials start coming up and start coming back. I don't know if you can see, but we've got some of my multiplier onions there are coming up, and there's actually one here as well. But other than that, things are pretty quiet in these garden beds. So let's start with the Hugelkultur closest to the entrance here. So there is our multiplier onion coming up very, very early. And like I said, you can see the deer prints all over this bed. But the thing I want you to notice is how low the soil is. Let me get you a different angle on this so you can see. Your Hugelkultur should be mounded over with soil, but you can see this one, it is very, very flat. Things have settled a lot this winter, and so we want to raise it up to about here. So this garden bed, before I do any planting, it's actually going to need an addition of a lot more soil. Look, here's some baby spinach that made it through our -20 winters. That's funny. But yeah, you can see here's our log. I had pulled this mulch back, but here's our log frame, and our dirt is pretty much level with the log. So we've got to mound this up and bring it up. And no, that won't hurt things like my onions. I might leave a little hollow around them, or I might just bury them and they can work their way up and poke their way through on that. But this bed definitely needs some work. I think we've got a mouse hole here. See, there's some wood. So if sticks are poking up through the surface of your dirt, that in the Hugelkultur is a sure sign that you need more soil. And this bed probably needs 4 inches added. This garden bed is actually similar. Our soil is quite, oh yeah, the mice have been in here. You can see holes there, but this has really, really settled, and that's not a bad thing. Our dirt is actually below our wood line. And that's not a bad thing. It just means your beds are settling and that it's doing what it should be doing. But that also means we have to add more dirt to this bed. Let's go check the other corners. Okay, here's our log. And again, yeah, here on this corner, our dirt is definitely down below the logs. So this bed actually should have some topping up done to it as well here in the spring. Hugelkulturs, they are supposed to settle. That's actually what makes a good bed. If you know anything about how they're built, you know that the soil slowly filters down through the wood base and things are going to drop. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's good to assess in the spring so you know where things are at, so you don't go out to plant and then find out, oops, we have to add more dirt on top of these tender young seedlings. Not a good idea. So I think most of these beds in here, as I look at them, I think they actually all need about 4 inches of soil. Let me show you guys another hole. Mice have been active, but look at this. This shows you something of the structure of the Hugelkultur garden bed. Look at that gap. So mice have been in here. They've exposed some of the wood underneath. Here's some wood on top exposed. So this is probably the most settlement I've ever had here on year 3. So pretty much all these beds need about another 3 to 4 inches of dirt added to them. And so I've got my work cut out for me for this spring to top things up. This one is probably the only bed that you might be able to get away without adding extra soil to. And of course, the center bed here, it looks quite full and good, but it could still use a little bit more. So with herbs like our oregano, we've got, I think, thyme over here. These things I will simply push dirt around the roots and then just keep going. Sign that deer were in here. And then all this little purple stuff you see through here is actually mountain spinach that is self-sowed. Here were the ginormous plants and all the little purple starts everywhere. I'm actually going to have to pull them out because while mountain spinach is wonderful, I don't want it growing all over my entire garden. Here's some more multiplier onions. They freeze every night, but they keep growing. It's incredible. Spring in the Hugelkultur kitchen garden isn't super glamorous. There's always a little bit of maintenance, a little bit of upkeep, and in your normal vegetable garden, you would want to add composted matter to your planting rows anyway. But with the Hugelkultur, you add a little bit more soil until these garden beds have fully settled. I'll have to keep adding soil probably every spring. I think so far I've had to, but this year we've seen the most settlement, which makes me happy because I know my beds are really taking hold and things are really filtering down and we're really getting to that stable point where things are actually going to do really, really well in here. And I'm excited to have them reach that stage where they're fully settled and I can really go at it and establish all the perennial herbs in these gardens that I've been wanting to put in since we started it. We're going on year 3 in the Hugelkulturs, folks, and I'm very, very excited for that. I've got a lot of herbs going in the house again, trying to visualize these beds and get my kitchen garden set up the way I want it. And my vision is to have the backbone of this garden be perennial herbs while I grow some annuals in between. That's what I want for herbs for tea, for medicinal purposes, for cooking. That's my vision for this garden bed. Now, if you want to learn, I promised I would tell you this, if you want to learn how to create a kitchen garden using the Hugelkultur technique, which is wonderful if you have really, really bad soil on your land like we do, these have been a lifesaver for us. So if you want to learn, though, how to create your own kitchen garden, I am doing a online class, April 22nd, 8 a.m. I'll put a link in the description below where you can go to sign up. But I talk to you all about creating a Hugelkultur kitchen garden. I explain how the process works. I explain the methods. If you guys have been intrigued by my videos, this training goes in a little bit more depth in explaining everything. And then it's also part of, the reason the video is going out is I'm actually part of a backyard gardening, vegetable gardening summit. So in this course, there's over 22, I think, presenters, gardening experts from around the world who are going to be putting on a free training for people like you and me who enjoy gardening. And it's going to be available. I will also put that link in the description below. It runs from April 21st, this summit, to April 23rd, and it's packed with information, everything you need to know about growing a vegetable garden, from composting to seed starting to transplanting to caring for your plants to weed suppression to pest control, all of that stuff. So if you would like to join and get access to that, like I said, the link will be in the description below. And then my lesson is specifically on Hugelkultur kitchen gardens, is specifically going live on April 22nd at 8 a.m. I believe that's Pacific time. And there's also an option in that for you to buy as well, buy an all access pass where you can have access to the entire summit, all 22 lessons that are being presented. That will be available to you as well. But if you don't want that, you can just go in and watch the videos for free. You won't get any of the special sales on resources or anything like that. But it's a really, really handy tool. Gardeners are looking out there and seeing so many people who want to garden this year but don't know how. And so one of them said, hey, I'm going to put together a summit. They pulled in a bunch of gardeners and they're like, let's help people this year. So you can access the information for free after each lesson plays. You can access it for 24 hours. And then if you really love what you see, you can buy the entire thing and have lifetime access to all the information, the courses that are being sold as well, the ebooks, all that stuff. All right, folks, thanks for joining me. I hope I will see you in the summit where I teach on how to create a Hugelkultur kitchen garden. And again, the links to all that stuff will be below. Thank you for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.